If you're using a GLP right now, you're natural, but perhaps not for too long. Coach Greg, and as if there isn't enough controversy already surrounding the GLPs, whether or not they're considered natural, if you're on them, do you lose your natty card? There's an announcement on WADA that the GLPs, those slimming drugs, they may in fact be added to the prohibited use of performance-enhancing drugs before the Los Angeles Olympics. If you're using a GLP right now, according to WADA, you're natural, but perhaps not for too long. This isn't clickbait. I'm not trying to scare you. I'm just wanting you to be informed. And FYI, my opinion is if you use these products while they're legal and eventually they ban them, then you did no harm. It's not up to you to decide in the future whether or not WADA is going to approve or disapprove of a said substance. And so don't worry if you in fact are using a GLP and they add it to the list. Not going to say you're a fake natty. The World Anti-Doping Agency, WADA, may add well-known slimming drugs to its prohibited list ahead of the Los Angeles 2028 Olympics. A decision is expected by the end of 2026 or in 2027, according to Sky News. WADA will evaluate the risk such drugs pose to the health of the athlete, whether they give users an unfair advantage and or whether the drugs violate the spirit of the sport. To ban the drugs, they need to meet 2 out of the 3 criteria just stated. Endurance athletes would most likely gain the biggest advantage from the drugs. Disagree with that. WADA is reportedly concentrating on semaglutide, which is found in Ozempic and Wegovy. First of all, I don't think that these GLPs give the greatest advantage to endurance athletes. When you're an endurance athlete at this level, for example, you're running marathons, you're doing triathlons, you're running the 10K, you're already running so many miles that you don't gain an advantage from reducing your appetite. It's going to slow gastric emptying. This is not something that endurance athletes want. Half of these guys, girls are consuming sugar during their workouts. They want it to be absorbed faster than that time. They don't want it slower. They want the energy right now. But there are sports that I do think it could be an advantage. I just did a video for Billy on a famous Olympic athlete, 3 gold medals from China. She competed at 77 pounds and she's now up to 110 pounds. Now, granted, she went through puberty. She's a little bit taller, but she a little bit chubbier than last time. Now, she isn't fat, but in Olympic diving, the smaller you are, the skinnier you are, the less splash you make when diving into the water. And so by taking these drugs, remember, she's not an endurance athlete, she's just diving. She can reduce her appetite, reduce her cravings, and get skinnier and skinnier by the day. This gives her an advantage when flipping in the air and having to make the tiniest splash possible. And so we all know certain sports where the skinnier they are, the better. Figure skating, gymnastics, platform diving, the list goes on and on. Sports involving weight classes where you have to cut down and make weight, for example, in judo, karate, wrestling, these athletes have to starve themselves in order to make weight classes. And so most certainly if they're using a GLP, which, for example, you could go and pick up at Algo RX. Remember, they're not some scammy research chemical site. These are prescription medications coming from compound pharmacies prescribed by doctors. They sell a ton of various peptides, but only those that are 100% legal. They don't sell Retta. They do not have BPC 157. They only sell what's legal. Click the link in the description. And so it stated the drugs make you feel fuller, so you eat less, which also contributes to the risk of injury. It's true. If you're never hungry, you're able to starve yourself, lose more weight, lose your period, increase risk of injury, reduce bone density. This is not good for the athlete's health. And as you know, these GLPs do come with negative side effects. There is no free lunch. Now, I'm not saying that everyone's going to experience them. Perhaps it's only 10%. But it doesn't come without any risk. In order for a compound, a drug to get banned, to be determined by WADA if it's going to be banned, yes or no, they look at 3 different things. Number 1, it has the potential to enhance or enhances sport performance. It has to meet 2 out of the 3 criteria. And so can using Ozempic help an athlete in a sport? I say yes. If you're in a sport involving a weight class and it helps you to diet down, keeps you from being hungry, makes it easier to cut, let's say, 10 kilograms of body fat from your body, then it's clearly giving you an advantage. Instead of fighting at 90 kilograms, you're fighting at 80 kilograms against a smaller opponent. It most certainly can aid the performance in certain sports. Not all of them. I certainly don't think that in curling that it's giving you a significant advantage. I don't think it's helping basketball and hockey players, although you could make the argument that if you're overweight and you're a basketball player, you're having a hard time slimming down and you take Ozempic or whatever GLP and you're able to lose weight because of that medication, then it is giving you an advantage. Perhaps you're now 10 kilograms lighter, you can jump 2 more inches off the ground and you can perform a little bit better. And so I really do think that the GLPs meet criteria number 1 of aiding performance. Number 2, it represents an actual or potential health risk to the athlete. Now, this is going to be difficult to prove. Is it possible that using a GLP can be dangerous? Well, absolutely. If it's abused, if people are using doses above what is recommended, or perhaps they're using the GLPs to cut down to 5% body fat instead of, let's call it 15, there is risk of abuse. But did we not just watch a video that I posted on a 17-year-old girl who was drinking 6 Alani energy drinks each and every day, and she is no longer with us. Her parents are suing the company for $1 million. And so the reason for that is because the use of caffeine. And so does caffeine pose any potential health risks? Of course. There's people out there, they can't consume it. It's dangerous. If they drink too much caffeine, 6 cans a day, well, it can cause a cardiac arrhythmia. And so why would they allow it? Well, it can't just be the 1 in a million chance that it's dangerous. It has to be actually dangerous to most people. And so is a GLP dangerous to an athlete who is training harder than last time, using it with the approval and consent of a doctor? I don't really think so. My honest opinion is that taking a pre-workout is perhaps just as dangerous as Ozempic, depending on the dosage. If you go in and scoop 5 of these and go to the gym, it can cause bad things. And so to the same extent, if you use a GLP and you use too much of it, also can cause bad things. But there are other side effects of GLPs. For example, anhedonia. This is when you have a decrease in your feeling like a human being. You have less joy in this world. Some people are actually noticing when they use these GLPs that they don't actually want to gamble. They don't want to smoke cigarettes. They have less desire to do bad things, good things as well. For example, sexy time. And so does that qualify as a health risk to an athlete? And so if you're on the fence, I could most certainly see, it could swing either way if you're voting on this. Some people are going to say, already 2 things, check, check. Others are going to say, no, maybe just 1. And so what is the third? Remember, 2 out of 3, and it's on WADA's prohibited list. It violates the spirit of the sport. Hey, it depends what you think. Does taking a GLP, which reduces your hunger, violate the spirit of competition to find out who is the best natural athlete on the planet? If an athlete feels that they need to take this drug to keep up with the Joneses, if I don't take a GLP, I won't be skinny enough to make that weight class. I won't be able to box down a class, wrestle down a class. I won't be able to lose the 10 kilograms I need in order to make a smaller splash into that pool. The basketball coach, he told me I need to lose 10 kilograms or I'm not making the starting team. I feel like it does violate the spirit of the sport. I mean, if people are using GLPs to gain an advantage, to lose weight, to decrease their cravings, to give them a competitive edge over their opponents, then I think it does violate the spirit of the sport. You can debate me, and if you disagree with that, I see nothing wrong with that. It's a healthy debate. In my personal opinion, as Coach Greg, if I was on the WADA team deciding what drugs get approved or disapproved, I'm disallowing a GLP-1. I'm sorry. Now, if you decide to take a GLP, for example, you're Greg O'Gallagher and you're saying, I don't care if I'm natural, totally valid point. I get it. I feel the same.
Greg Doucette was looking at my physique on Instagram.
You're not competing in the Olympics. You're just bro who goes to the gym and you just want to eat a little bit less so that you're healthier, you're not fat, you look a little bit better. You look better in the bathing suit in the summer. Use it. You know, I don't care. Would I prefer if you don't use it and instead you purchase my cookbook? You get the GLP Max, natural, 100% natural. This is not on WADA's list. And you add in the Turk Builder Max. Which do you think I'd rather you do? Obviously, I mean, and even selfishly, I'm going to make way more money if you purchase my supplements in my cookbook than I ever will if you purchase a GLP. But truly, I just want you to be happy, and I'm not against GLPs. I think that people who are obese should be using them. Hey, I'm sorry. I think it's worth the risk. If I was fat right now, there's no way I wouldn't be taking it. If I were a competitive bodybuilder getting ready for a pro competition, I would 100% be on a GLP, perhaps more than one. I don't think that if you're already at a healthy weight that it offers more health benefits than not taking it. I'm not going to take it. I'm an athlete. I race bikes. I don't want to reduce my appetite and reduce the absorption of the nutrients and slow me down. And so if you're overweight, yes, it can make you lose weight. It's going to make it easier. But if you're already at a healthy weight, you don't need it. Now, if you're at a healthy weight, but you're starving all the time, you're tracking your calories, you feel like garbage, you're doing 7 hours of cardio a week, and the food noise, it goes crazy. Even for you, yes, I think you also deserve to be able to use this. Remember, I'm saying deserve. I don't think everyone should just get a free lunch, that the government should just give everyone this for free. In Canada, we have free healthcare, paid mostly by me. Perhaps the millions of dollars in taxes that they're taking each and every year. Very annoying, and they don't even give me the healthcare when I need it. Even Mepsigram. Trying to get her blood work multiple times, shows up 3 times in a row. Oh, it's not ready. But you said it takes 5 days, it's day 8. And so it's annoying. Yes, I don't think that every person off the street should just be able to go to the doctor and say, hey, give me Ozempic, give me this, give me that, and get it for free. But if you're going to purchase it through private means, for example, from Algorex and so on, well, I think you should have access to this. I think it should be allowed. In comparison to other medications, to other substances that people take, I don't think it's on the higher tier of danger. For example, if you had to compare Addies, doing math, to taking a GLP, I most certainly think that Addies are at a greater risk. And for example, there's other products. You've probably heard of Kratom. If you haven't heard of Kratom, in my opinion, it's a very powerful performance-enhancing drugs, and it's not even banned by WADA. I looked it up. I was shocked. And so Kratom, it has the possibility of being an addictive substance, one that's very hard to stop. And so if you ask me, which is more dangerous, using Kratom or using a GLP, I'm telling you it's the Kratom, and yet Kratom is not banned by WADA. And so in case you're wondering, Kratom contains alkaloids like mitragynine that can act somewhat like stimulants / opioids. And so the problem with Kratom is that you can get it in these gas stations in liquid form, and it's really, really high dose, where they concentrate the Kratom down into the chemical ingredients, and people are buying these and getting addicted. Now, if you're purchasing it in leaves or in powder, it's not as dangerous. But remember, this is not banned by WADA. And so just because WADA doesn't ban something doesn't mean it doesn't have performance benefits, doesn't mean it isn't dangerous. And so please be careful. Now, you may be aware that Ajuga turkestanica has ecdysteroids, which in fact are on the watch list, meaning they're examining it, they're keeping their eye out on it, but they haven't found anything yet to say there's no way you should be using it. Remember, it would have to check off 2 out of those 3 qualities. Is creatine or Turk Builder Max dangerous? No, it's not dangerous to your body. If it was dangerous, if it could cause heart attacks or addiction and so on, then that would count as a yes. But it's not dangerous, and so far it's safe. Does it offer a performance-enhancing effect? Yes. Now, that is 1 out of 2. Remember, it has to be 2 out of 3. And so you can see clearly that creatine is allowed to the same extent. Turk Builder Max also allowed. And the final, does it violate the spirit of the sport? Does anyone think that when you're consuming creatine that you're violating the speed of the sport? Hey, you're not actually natty. I mean, where is it for being natty on the spectrum? I mean, it's not a 0. It's perhaps a 2. Maybe anything above a 5 makes you a fake natty. Turk Builder Max, perhaps it's a 4. A bit stronger than creatine, a bit more potent, a bit more on the radar, but it doesn't violate the spirit of the sport. It's like, it's a supplement. It can help you get stronger, recover, give you more energy, but so can caffeine. Caffeine, it isn't banned. It was banned, but Does caffeine violate the spirit of sport? I mean, people drink coffee every day. They take pre-workouts. They sometimes abuse caffeine. They'll take multiple pills in order to get energy before that run or bike race. But it isn't really all that dangerous, although some people have actually died or allegedly have died from using caffeine. It isn't all that dangerous. And so my personal opinion is they will never be banning Turk because it doesn't violate the spirit of the sport and it isn't dangerous for your body. But a GLP, well, I think it's gone next year. And so let me know in the comments section, what do you think? Do I make any sense? If you are on the WADA committee, what would you say? Would you ban it? Does it violate the spirit of the sport? Is it dangerous? Or am I blowing things out of proportion? If you don't want to ever potentially take anything that might be banned, don't take a GLP. If you don't give a shit, remember, if you're taking it right now and they eventually ban it, I still think that you're natural. But if they ban it in the future and you use it while preparing for the Olympics or whatever competition, while it is banned, then we will have to say you're a fake natty because the rules are simply stating so. Subscribe, click the bell button, comment to boost the algorithm. Please go to AlgoRx, use code Greg. Watch one of those two bloops. Remember, if you're looking to be coached by myself or myself and my team, if you're looking for HGLT supplements, or if you want to carry the supplements in your store and or gym, click the link. And until next time, I am out.